I'm traditional marriage. It is changing rapidly.
But what do you say to a lesbian or a gay man who are married and say...
I really don't say anything. I mean, I'm just, Jake, I'm for traditional marriage.
Donald Trump on CNN's State of the Union yesterday, reacting to the Supreme Court decision that redefined marriage, making same-sex marriage legal in all 50 states. Several GOP presidential candidates have already spoken out on the decision. Rand Paul broke his silence late last night in an op-ed for Time, saying the courts should not be able to define and redefine marriage. Senator Paul also voiced concerns that this decision could put religious freedom at risk. For more on that, let's turn to Dr. Richard Land, the president of the Southern Evangelical Seminary in Charlotte, North Carolina. He joins us by telephone. Dr. Land, we appreciate your time on Newsmax Prime.
Yes, sir. Glad to be with you. I wish you could be under happier circumstances.
I do, too. Let me just put the question to you squarely. Is religious freedom at risk?
Absolutely. Absolutely, unquestionably, and unequivocally. In 1940, Winston Churchill said that the Battle of France was over and the Battle of Britain was about to begin. Well, unless we have a spiritual awakening in America, the battle for traditional marriage is over, and the battle for religious freedom has begun.
And that statement sounds very similar to a document, a letter, I believe you signed along with 99 other Christian leaders dissenting from the Supreme Court decision. Tell us about your action taken today.
Well, we just made it very clear as evangelical Christian leaders that we dissent from this decision, and these are basic core principles of the Christian faith. And I know it's difficult for liberals to understand this, but we have convictions, and convictions can't be coerced, and they can't be intimidated, and they can't be threatened. We're going to speak the truth in love. Just because 5 lawyers say that same-sex marriage is legal, that doesn't make it moral, and that doesn't make it right.
Dr. Land, some pastors have gone on record saying they would rather go to jail than perform a same-sex marriage. Do you think it could come to that?
It could, but I think there'll be some intermediate steps first. They will come after the tax-exempt status of traditional churches that refuse to compromise their beliefs on same-sex marriage. They'll come after the accreditation of Christian colleges that do not allow same-sex couples to live together and to engage in homosexual activities. They will come after student loans. I mean, you know, with one fell swoop of the pen, the President of the United States, by an executive order, could say, we will not allow any federally guaranteed student loans to be used at any college that in any way, shape, or form discriminates against homosexuals. And that would put a lot of Christian colleges out of business almost immediately.
Do you believe that step will be taken, and what will happen to those Christian colleges? Will they go out of business?
Well, I don't know if it'll happen or not. It certainly could happen. You know, Mr. Obama just this weekend said in an interview that he wasn't accountable to anybody now. He's fearless because he never has to stand accountable to the American voters again. So we're going to get to see the real Obama. And I believe the real President Obama is much more liberal even than the one we've seen heretofore. I think some Christian colleges will go out of business if that happens. Other Christian colleges will not. And some Christian colleges, unfortunately, will knuckle under to federal power, and by doing so, show that they have departed from the traditional Christian faith.
What concerns you most about this decision, Richard?
Wow. It's a long list. First of all, that it was so arbitrary, as Chief Justice Roberts said in his dissent. Who do we think we are as the Supreme Court? This has nothing to do with the Constitution. This has to do with 5 lawyers imposing their will and their understanding of what marriage should be on the American people. And that is not the government that we have had in this country. We've had the government that is ruled by the rule of law and by the Constitution. This decision shows in stark relief how we have descended from the fertile plains of constitutional government to the arid desert of government by the capriciousness and arbitrariness of mere men.
Among the current presidential candidates, has anyone taken a stand that impresses you speaking out against this court decision? 30 seconds.
Yeah, I think that the Republicans in general have taken a stand for traditional marriage. I applaud those who are calling for action. I do believe that we need to stand up for religious freedom. First of all, by practicing it. Do not allow the government to intimidate us into silence. We need to speak the truth in love. And when attempts are made to weaponize our own government against us, we need to pray, and we need to go into the court system and defend our rights vigorously, lest we lose them.
Richard Land, we do appreciate your time and your insights. Thank you very much. You heard what Dr. Land had to say. What do you think? You can get in touch with me via email, Facebook, Twitter. There's also newsmaxtv.com/comments.